Welcome to Dodgers Daily. Casey Porter here. So glad that you decided to tune in. Fans, we have a great show for you tonight. So glad that you decided to tune in. It's going to be a lot of fun. It is Sunday night in the big town here on Dodgers Dawgs as part of the Dodgers Daily Network. So glad that you have tuned in to Dodgers Dawgs tonight. We have a lot to talk about. Hey, the hot stove is very hot right now. Winter meetings are in full swing. It's already been an awesome offseason for the Dodgers. Andrew Friedman has told you, Dodgers fans, we've been telling you on Dodgers Dawgs, dating all the way back to last offseason, that Andrew Friedman's goal is to get all of his work done in the offseason when the price is right, because with the new wild card set up, there's so many teams that you can't tell the difference between buyers and sellers. That being the case, then the price tag is artificially too high at the trade deadline. So Andrew Friedman told you in the wonderful Jim Rome interview the other day. If you have not seen that interview with Andrew Friedman and Jim Rome the other day, go check that out. It is absolutely awesome. Matter of fact, if there's somebody, Christopher or Craig or Ela Shiva, good evening, Daniel Berry Sports Highlight, if you could go out there somewhere and find that interview with Jim Rome and Andrew Friedman and put that link in the chat, that would be absolutely awesome, because that interview is worth watching, no doubt about it. Free Joe Exotic. Yeah, Joe Exotic actually is from Oklahoma. My wife and I, beautiful bride of 25 years, actually drove out to the zoo there, whatever you want to call it, the sanctuary in Wynnewood, and saw all that a couple of years ago. So the conversation today, though, but the conversation there was that Andrew Friedman was going to do all of his work in the offseason, right? Because the price is better in the offseason than it is at the trade deadline. Last year, you saw him sign Yoshinobu Yamamoto, Tyler Glasnow, Teo Hernandez, Shohei Ohtani, and then you kind of felt like you had everything you needed. And then Tyler Glasnow goes down. Yoshinobu Yamamoto he goes down for a bit. Gavin Stone goes down. Bobby Miller doesn't pitch very well. And then Walker Buehler isn't pitching well at all when the trade deadline hits. And so at that point, you really needed to go out and get an ace-level pitcher. That's why they had to go get Jack Flaherty at the trade deadline. But I promise you that Andrew Friedman would have rather have just had everything taken care of in the offseason, not had to do the trade deadline thing. And so I'm giving a long story here like I like to do. That as far as we have a comment here from Cole Casey. I know there are rumors, but what are your views on Dodgers looking Arenado? I wouldn't mind if he came with a player like Halsey. Taylor could use a change of scenery as well. We'll get to that here in a minute. But I know that we got Flaherty, we got Kopech, we got Tommy Edman, one of my favorites, at the trade deadline. But Andrew Friedman has told you, Dodgers fans, he is going to do his work in the offseason. So the question now is Roki Sasaki. Let's back up, though, okay? Let's talk about Willy Adames. We have been telling you here on Dodgers Dawgs as part of the Dodgers Daily Network, the Dodgers have wants, not needs. Okay? 7 years for Willy Adames with the offensive profile that he brings and likely is going to bring down the line. Let the Giants have him. We have said time after time after time, because you have wants and not needs, now you don't have to overpay. Having said that, I'm kind of speaking out both sides of my mouth, because I think the shortstop center field thing is a need at this point. And what I mean by that is I think Tommy Edman can play either. So I think it is a need to either get a center fielder or a shortstop, one of the two. We went over several different scenarios that I would be okay with. I'm just talking about the average Dodgers fan that isn't totally connected to prospects, isn't really comfortable in giving prospects runway, giving maybe James Outman a second chance, of which I totally would. Okay, so there is still in my opinion, a need to go get a shortstop or a center fielder. I say that in my opinion it's a want, but I think in Dodgers fans' minds that's probably a need. If you were to go and say to the typical average Dodger fan out there that isn't, like I said, totally connected to the prospects or any of that, then I think they would prefer Tommy Edman be at short and go get a center fielder in free agency or trade, or put Tommy Edman in center, go get a shortstop in free agency or trade. We'll mark one of them off the books. We've been telling you that Willy Adames is not a good fit for the Dodgers for a long time. The Dodgers, Willy Adames was not going to be a good fit for the Dodgers at 6 years. He's not a good fit whatsoever at 7 years. To me, the San Francisco Giants had a terrible year last year. I think they're hemorrhaging, and in my opinion, this is a sign of signing a big name to please the fans out of desperation. That 7-year contract to Willy Adames, to me, again, just me, which means absolutely nothing. You can take my opinion and about $7 and go get you a latte at Scooters or Starbucks, right? Because that's what my opinion is worth. Nothing, right? But that is a contract and a sign of desperation of the San Francisco Giants, who are trying to compete against the San Diego Padres, who, by the way, I'm going to say this straight up, the Padres have done great. I can't stand the Padres. I can't stand Manny Machado. I can't stand Fernando Tatis Jr. I can't stand the antics, that they just the stupidness. Considering, and I say that not because they're my rival. Some of it is because they're the rival of the Dodgers. I really say that my just kind of disdain for the Padres is more my baseball background of thinking, first of all, this is a humbling game. Tatis Jr., who made the last out, right? You're the one talking all the crap, okay? It's a humbling game, so you're making this incredibly more difficult for your team to win, to be like that and be that type of brass type of personality. And then also the Padres have not won a thing. They haven't even been to the World Series. So why in the world do you have this type of dumbass mentality that they have? Because you haven't earned it. That's where my disdain goes for. I think that's most of my disdain for the Padres. Then when you add the fact that they're the close by rival, I think that adds to it. So I say all that to say, they've done a really good job. They've created a roster full of good pitching. They've created a roster full of good starting pitching. They've created a roster full of good relievers. They've created a roster full of good offensive players. They have guys that can hit home runs. They have guys that can get base hits. They have bat to ball. They have boom and bust. They have everything. And then also, I'll tell you another thing they did. They went and hired a fantastic manager. Mike Schilt is absolutely awesome. They asked him the other day about the Dodgers, and he was like, guys, the Dodgers got to do what they got to do. I'm not concerned about them. I'm concerned about my club. So I love Mike Schilt, okay? And then obviously you have the Dodgers, who are building a dynasty. I've said, I don't know how many times at this point, that the Dodgers won the World Series this year with the worst roster they're going to have in the next 5 or 6 years. And that's shaping up, right? And so here you have the San Francisco Giants, who suck. I mean, they suck, okay? And they're looking over here at the Padres and Dodgers, who have built awesome rosters. One of them a dynasty-type roster. The other one is a San Diego Padres roster that I'm going to give them credit, man. They're good. They're freaking good. Go back to my conversation with Billy Gasparino. He'll tell you, they're freaking good, right? So you have to, if you're the Giants, you have to do something. You have to do something. So you go sign a big name, Willy Adames, and you sign him to a desperate 7-year contract. Good luck with that. See, that's the kind of crap that the Dodgers don't do. This is what I'm always talking about whenever people talk about the Dodgers. They're ruining baseball, this and that. This is why I always get so fired up about it, because this is why the Dodgers are so good, because they never make moves out of desperation. Everything they do is completely calculated, and it's thought out, it's vetted. That goes back to the conversation of, I don't want to get back in this conversation, but back to the Carlos Correa conversation, where the comments that I was making were, if the Dodgers vet this guy, right? Okay? Because every decision the Dodgers make is totally vetted. And because of that, they don't make stupid decisions like going out and making desperate contracts, right? And so when they do sign guys to long-term contracts, it's guys that they vetted to be worth it. Okay, Mookie Betts, Shohei Ohtani, all those kinds of guys. So see you, Willie Adames. Good luck in San Francisco. A move of desperation. In my opinion, I wouldn't have paid 6 years for him. Good luck with that. So that does leave the Dodgers with one more hole. So I've been saying it all offseason. You guys have my receipts. Ha-Seong Kim. And I know you're going to come at me and you're going to say, well, he's not even going to be ready to play till All-Star break. Neither was Tommy Edman. Great. You still got Miguel Rojas on roster. You still have Tommy Edman that can play shortstop. Chris Taylor and likely Kike Hernandez. You're going to have Chris Taylor. You're likely going to have Kike Hernandez. They can play shortstop. And then another thing that allows you to do, and this is where, hey, we have a super chat here. Let me get back into this. Let me get to my super chat first. Hey, Glenn Comita, thank you so much for that $5 super chat. What an awesome deal. Hey, I can't tell you how flattering and humbling it is to have these incredible crowds we're having for these live shows, and then when you guys show up and have these wonderful thoughts, and then you leave these super chats, it is amazingly humbling. So thank you so much, Glenn. Hi, Casey. Love your show. What would you do to fix the shortstop and center field issues? How do you see 6 starting pitchers to be? Great questions, Glenn, and that's exactly what I was getting to. So I go get Ha-Seong Kim, okay? And I know you're going to come at me, and you're going to say, well, he can't play until All-Star break. Okay, fine, I don't care. So Miguel Rojas, Tommy Edman, Kike Hernandez, Chris Taylor, they play short, right? Okay. And then also what that gives you the window to do is that gives you the window to take a guy like James Outman and let's see if he can get back to be a 4.2 WAR type player. Okay, that gives you the window to get Andy Pages or Dalton Rushing the at-bats that they need to see what you have with them. And I know you're going to say, oh my God, James Outman, he struck out, this and that. Please, not whatever, okay? I'm not going to push back against that. Just hear me out here, though, okay? Is that the Dodgers are going to have Shohei Ohtani. The Dodgers are going to have Mookie Betts. The Dodgers are still going to have Max Muncy, Will Smith. They're going to re-sign Teo Hernandez likely. They still have Tommy Edman, okay? And then they still have Tyler Glasnow. They still have Shohei Ohtani. They still have Yoshinobu Yamamoto. They still have all these 6 starting pitchers that are top of the line. Blake Snell, okay? So whether you put James Outman out in the outfield or Dalton Rushing or Andy Pages and see what these guys have or not, the Dodgers are still going to win games. So that gives you a window of, say, 3 months or so where you can figure out what Dalton Rushing has, what James Outman has, what Andy Pages has. And then Ha-Seong Kim gets healthy again. Then you figure out which one of those guys is the guy you might want to be the keeper in right field or left field, whichever one it is. Or if it's none of them, that's when you use the trade market and the trade deadline to solve that problem. So that's how I would go about that. I would see what your three guys in your system have. And then if it's none of them perform and you don't like what you have, on July 31st, you go out and you get a league average offensive player and you put them in right field and you make a trade from there and you solve it that way and go win a World Series because you have the best pitching staff and still the best offense in baseball. The Dodgers just signed Michael Conforto is what we're getting right there. So that's how I would solve that. So that takes us to our next topic, which is Roki Sasaki. And what a crowd we have logged in. Guys, again, and gals out there, I can't tell you how humbling it is to log on to Dodgers Dawgs as part of the Dodgers Daily Network and get to talk to all you awesome Dodgers fans and to see crowds like this. It is so humbling. So, hey, pretty fired up. My Oklahoma State Cowboys they've had a fiasco this whole week. So I'm pretty fired up to begin with. And anytime I talk about the Dodgers, it always brings out a lot of fire in me too. So I'm in a pretty fiery mood tonight. So hey, Craig Osterberg, good evening. Christopher Navarro, yes, please hit that like button. By the way, this week we have Chris Gutierrez, who is the third base coach for the AAA Oklahoma City Comets. We have Sean Coyne, who's the pitching coach at Rancho Cucamonga. He's going to talk about Ronaldo Yeen, and he's going to talk about Edgardo Henriquez. He's going to talk about all the young pitchers. You've heard of a lot of them. You've heard from a lot of them in some of the interviews. You're also going to hear from Dave Anderson, who is the High A Great Lakes pitching coach. Okay, and then also we have Kenny George on deck. We've got Jose Rodriguez. We've got Landon Knack. So we have a ton of coverage from down on the farm coming to you this week. So I hope that you sign in. Hey, Mike, how you doing? Yeah, the Jim. There you go, Mike. Thank you so much. That interview with Jim Rome and Andrew Friedman is just absolutely awesome. Mike, our wonderful moderator who does great work for the Bleed Lows podcast. Mike, good evening to you. Thank you so much for posting that. If you haven't seen it, check that out. Hey, Craig Osterberg, Soto probably going to announce where he's going to go soon. Dodgers have offered, and again, that's the wants versus needs. The Dodgers, in that situation, they're going to offer what they think they can do, what makes sense for them, and if the player at that time, like a Willie Adames, wants more, see ya. So I see Juan Soto being in the same category as Willie Adames. The Dodgers make an offer, $600 million, maybe a little bit more than that. If it's much more than that, adios. Which, to me, at that point, the Mets make the most amount of sense because I think Steve Cohen would. I think Steve Cohen, like Toronto, I don't think their offer would be so much more significantly enticing to Juan Soto to make him take the extra money to play for them instead of the Dodgers. But I think Steve Cohen, Juan Soto still gets to be in the Big Apple. He still gets to be not the Hollywood star, but he gets to be the New York bright lights type of star there. And then I think Steve Cohen would offer a significant salary larger than what the Dodgers could do. So I think that's probably where we're headed. But hey, if Juan Soto wants to come and play for the Dodgers, he can. Because the Dodgers have made him a hell of a good offer, one that would make him extremely wealthy, and if he took it, he would become extremely wealthy, which at some point, do you need more money, right? I mean, at some point I would have to think that winning championships trumps making an extra couple of $1 million. Now, who am I to say that? Because it's not my money and I'm not a millionaire. But I would think that at some point, whenever you already have more money than you could probably spend ever on Earth, when your grandchildren's grandchildren are already probably taken care of financially, then at that point, to me, it would be about winning championships. So in that scenario, the Dodgers have offered a hell of a contract to Juan Soto. So if he wants to come and win 4, 5, 6 World Series and be the two-hole for the greatest dynasty of this generation, that offer is out for him. It is right there in front of him. It is up to him. The ball is in Juan Soto's court. Congratulations, Dodgers front office, again, okay, for, in my opinion, letting San Francisco signed Willie Adames on what I consider to be a desperate contract. Congratulations for putting the ball in Juan Soto's court and making it very clear that the Dodgers want him, but not in a way that would put this situation in any kind of vulnerable position moving forward, because if Juan Soto comes to the Dodgers, it will be in a scenario to where the Dodgers have vetted the financials and they know it will work. And if he chooses not to do that, and he chooses instead to chase another 5, 10, whatever $1 million it would be, so be it. That's on him. The Dodgers front office has done everything they can. And having said that, if they don't get him, that tells you that whoever the next guy is in line, they will do everything they can to go get that guy, right? And so, hey, man, I could not be more fired up. It's going to be super exciting. Cole, the rumors on Arenado. Not a fan of Arenado. Max Muncy, point blank. Austin has explained this. Well, let me back up. I am a fan of Nolan Arenado. I think he's been a wonderful player. I think you're going to get a contract there that you're going to get the wrong side of the aging curve. Austin can do a better job of explaining this situation. But honestly, when you break down Max Muncy and Nolan Arenado is going to hit the ball more. He's going to put the ball in play more often. And he's not going to hit home runs like Max Muncy does. I think the Dodgers already have Tommy Edman. They already have Mookie Betts. They already have Shohei Ohtani. They already have Freddie Freeman. Will Smith when he's going right. And then if they go get a Ha-Seong Kim, they don't need another bat-to-ball guy. What they need is an explosive guy like a Max Muncy. So I think especially if they go, now that Willy Adames is off the table, if your shortstop is Miguel Rojas or Ha-Seong Kim, I don't think that your shortstop can be one of those guys and then also be another guy at third base that isn't explosive. So because Willy Adames, the guy who could hit home runs at shortstop, is no longer in play right now, you're going to have a shortstop that's a bat-to-ball guy, that's a base hit type of guy. And so now Max Muncy's offensive profile actually makes even more sense than it did before, to stack on top of the fact that, simply put, Max Muncy's a better offensive player anyways, to simply put that his production versus his contract is a much better deal than Nolan Arenado. So I am a square no on Nolan Arenado. But hey, if you disagree with me, that's awesome. That's why we love doing this on Dodgers Dawgs as part of the Dodgers Daily Network. And if you have not hit that like button, we have 137 in the lobby, which is awesome. Only 32 likes. Hit that like button. Also, not just in the chat, make sure and leave a comment in the regular comment section of this video. Hey, Michael Nielsen, thank you so much for joining. Dodgers must think they still have a shot at Soto if they haven't signed Teo yet, no doubt. They're waiting to see what Juan Soto does, and again, they have they've put the ball in his court. They've done everything they can. Andrew is too smart to not know that Teo could get more expensive later. Could Santander be an option? Yeah, we covered Santander last time, and Austin said, 5, maybe 6 years. I don't think they're going to want to sign Santander to like a 6-year deal. That's going to be the problem with him. The beauty in Teo is you're getting a really good player, and you're also getting a contract that I think, in terms of length, totally makes sense to the Dodgers. So you either go get the absolute complete Hall of Famer superstar, the guy with the 180 WRC plus, and you sign him for whatever years because he's worth it, in the Juan Soto guy, or then you sign the guy that fits contract-wise, and then with Teo, to add to all that, he fits in every other way as well. So Teo makes a tremendous amount of sense. Trust me, they have talked. So this is not to be concerned. Teo knows exactly what the organization's doing. He knows exactly what's going to happen if Soto does sign. He knows exactly what's going to happen if Soto doesn't sign. And this has all already been hashed out. So I actually, to be honest with you, I'm different than most people. I'm actually rooting for Soto to go to the Mets, or actually be better if he probably went to the American League. I don't want the contract. I don't want the bad defense. I don't want the wrong end of the aging curve. I'm different than guys like Hep C. I know Hep C wants to, hey, who cares about 5 or 6 years from now? I want Teo. I want Teo's contract. I want the way it all fits, and I want it to go that way. Hey, great show as usual, Casey. It's confusing which Kim when people are talking to say they won. Is it the guy from San Diego or the guy that just posted? No, the guy from San Diego, the shortstop that has the good bat-to-ball skills. Ha-Sung Kim. Yeah, so, hey, thank you so much for that super chat. That is absolutely awesome. Christopher, you are a 100% rock star. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate your support. That is just absolutely awesome. So that's the guy I'm talking about. Wouldn't be back, injured right now, wouldn't be back maybe until All-Star break. Again, I've gone over that scenario. I think that's actually a benefit to the Dodgers because it gives them a chance to evaluate some things I think they need to have some runway to evaluate. Ela Shiva, thank you so much for joining. In my humble opinion, we have Edmund and Rojas and CT3 who can all do shortstop. I totally agree with that. Cole, I'm not going to look down on the Dodgers getting a player that had a down year. The Dodgers are their best chance to win the World Series. They will play hard. Hey, Al Minerva, 100% Casey plus. There's always the trade deadline to address needs. That's kind of what I'm saying. So if you go get Ha-Sung Kim and he's not available even until the All-Star break, then that gives you the runway like we were talking about to evaluate. It gives you more at-bats for Andy Pages, James Outman, Dalton Rushing. You evaluate those three, whichever one you like, you put them in right field. And if it's zero, as in, I don't know that either and any of these three are the one I want playing in the World Series next to Shohei Ohtani and Freddie Freeman. If that's your conclusion, then at the trade deadline you go get a league average veteran. That's the advantage to me getting Ha-Sung Kim gives you, and I like that game plan. Others probably won't, but that's just where I'm at. Cole, I think Soto's camp was hoping the Dodgers would come up with $700 million. I'm telling you, man, the Dodgers know what they're doing. They are in a want versus needs. They want Juan Soto very badly. They don't need Juan Soto very badly. Hey, Michael Nielsen, you're right about Adames Casey. Eventually, both sides will be unhappy with each other. I agree. Ela Shiva's agreeing, I think, about Willie Adames as well. Cole, that left side in Frisco will be elite. We'll see. Hey, yes, Christopher Navarro, I am absolutely preaching because I am pretty fired up about, as I mentioned, some of the things that are going on this week. So I'm in a pretty fired up mood. I'm pretty frisky right now. So I hope I'm not preaching too much, but I'm having a good time. So there you go. Ela Shiva, Casey, I love your description of the hated Giants. No doubt about it. Hey, Bob Student 10. Hey, Casey, exactly. San Francisco is so far behind the Dodgers and Padres. I totally agree. Al Minerva, don't sleep on them snakes. It's a three-headed monster in the NL West. I agree. And then also, not just is the Arizona Diamondbacks a talented team. They're good. They also do some things that are kind of kryptonite-ish against the Dodgers. So I would totally agree. Hey, Christopher Navarro, here's one. Here's a good one. I would trade for pitcher Castillo from Seattle. We've got prospects that are 26 and 27 that are blocked. So that brings you to Roki Sasaki. So I think he's still a favorite to sign with the Dodgers. I still think he would probably sign spring training or whatever. I don't think he would count towards your 40-man. We'll see. I could be wrong on that. Don't exactly quote me on that, but we'll see. And I think he still is I think the Dodgers are still the favorite. So the great thing about Roki Sasaki is that last year at this time when the Dodgers signed Yoshinobu Yamamoto, they needed him to be an ace. Roki Sasaki won't have to have those types of expectations placed on him. So you might say, well, he's not as experienced. It's not as plug and play, and you would be correct. And it doesn't have to be. The Dodgers already have Glass now at Yamamoto. They have Shohei Ohtani. They have Blake Snell. They've got Dustin May. They got Tony Gonsolin, Bobby Miller, Landon Knack, Ben Kasparius, you name it. Oh, Ben Kasparius is another one that we're going to talk about too this week and have an interview and a conversation with. So Roki Sasaki can be worked in as slowly as the Dodgers need him to, which I think would maximize his transition to being excellent, which is what the Dodgers want him to be. But totally agree, don't sleep on the Diamondbacks, Al Minerva. That is a great point. Shiba is agreeing with that. Cole, when Mookie went down, the Dodgers didn't panic. They got players like Biggio and Ahmed, knowing it was a short-term Band-Aid until Mookie and Muncy returned. Yes. So that's I will say, Cole, the one thing that frustrates me there, instead of using Biggio and Ahmed, I wish the Dodgers would have used Cody Hosey and maybe like an Alex Freeland. So I would prefer the Dodgers use their farm system for their margins instead of veterans like Biggio and Ahmed. Although I think Ahmed did a good job. The Kevin Biggio thing, I know he had a good game or two or whatever, but just come on, man. Like I said, you guys watch this show. I brag and brag and brag about the front office. That one there, I'm not a fan of, never will be. So I would rather see in those scenarios, like a couple of years ago, whenever Will Smith got hurt, the Dodgers went and got Austin Wynns to DFA him. Same situation as Ahmed. They got Ahmed to DFA him. They got Kevin Biggio to DFA him. Instead of doing that, just use the prospects that are already on your 40-man, right? And just use them, okay? That's the only pushback I would give on that. So, hey, we have another super chat here. $5 from Christopher Navarro, our rock star, Christopher. Hey, dual three-headed monsters, Ohtani, Betts, and Freeman. Yamamoto, Snell, and Roki Sasaki. Yeah, absolutely. Yamamoto, Snell, Roki, Glasnow, Ohtani, May, Gonsolin, Miller, which I think Miller is going to have a bounce back year. Knack, Kasparius. In the future, you got Hurt, you got River Ryan, you got Emmett Sheehan, you got Jackson Ferris coming, Orlando Ortiz Mayer, Jared Karros, Peter Hubeck. Yeah, man. This system is absolutely loaded with pitching. And by the way, the young pitchers like at Rancho, the Alex Makarowicz's, who's still trying to figure out the strike zone, the Seamus Barrett's, the Cam Days, the Wyatt Crowell, who is badass, by the way. Wyatt Crowell's badass. Okay, the Luke Fox guys. These young crop of pitchers that are down in Rancho are just very similar in talent to the crop we just saw get up to be Major League ready, like Landon Knack, Nick Frasso, Kyle Hurt, Emmett Sheehan, Bobby Miller. You could throw Michael Grove, Ryan Pepio into that. So this younger group is just kind of similar to that in terms of talent. They have, I think, a little bit further to go in terms of a grasp of what's going to make them great. But that's how talented the young pitchers are at Rancho. These dudes have some serious arm talent, so pay attention to them as we go throughout the offseason and then obviously next year at the minor leagues level. Hey, Shiba says Rojas is a stud at shortstop. No doubt, but I would say this, and I said this last year about Rojas, and that is he can't be your everyday shortstop because he's going to be 37 years old. And one, if he plays every day, he's going to wear down to the point to where he's not going to be as successful offensively. And then two, he's just not going to stay healthy, which he didn't. So the best case scenario for Miguel Rojas is for him to have a utility role and have the Dodgers plug him in situations that are most advantageous for him. So, hey, Bob Student 10, Dodgers know how to build around the edges, no doubt about that. And that's one of the reasons why they win. Hey, Sean Allen, thank you so much for the super chat. $1.99. Sean Allen, I cannot thank you enough. That is absolutely awesome. So Teo. Yes, I want Teo. I absolutely do. And we'll see. The Dodgers have made a play for Juan Soto, so we will see how that ends up. Yeah. So, hey, let's get to some more comments. Thank you so much for that awesome super chat. Really, really, really greatly appreciated. Hey, don't care 187. I feel like the Dodgers are messing around too much, waiting for Soto and about to find out when all the attention turns to Teo after the teams who miss out on Soto. So, kind of saying Maybe you should sign Teo in front of Soto. I don't think that's ever going to happen. The Dodgers want to see what's happening with Soto first, and I think they've already worked that out with Teo. Shiva Altman still has talent. We saw it clearly in 2023. I would agree with that. And then he would need runway. Only a little bit over 100 at bats just isn't enough to really make a determination either way. Christopher Navarro, we drafted Buehler while he was rehabbing TJ surgery. Yep, 2 TJs for him. No doubt. Bob Student 10, again, we don't need 100-plus wins. Just stay healthy for October. No doubt about it. Yeah, Michael Conforto. Hey, Michael, that's going to be an interesting pickup. No doubt about that. Looking forward to him. That dude can hit. And so, just another stick in that lineup. We'll see how the Dodgers use them, so that will be very exciting. So we'll see exactly how that goes. I don't know what that means for future signings. It'll be interesting to see exactly what that means for the roster moving forward. I'm going to type some of this in, and again, I'm by myself, so sometimes this gets kind of clunky here, but stick with me here as the Dodgers just signed one of the guys who, at least in the past, has been one of the most talented, I should say, offensive players in baseball, and I'm actually just butchering trying to type in his name here and get to him. So Michael Conforto, let's look at some of his statistics. Last year was a year to where he hit 237. He had a WRC plus of 112. He had a walk percentage of 8.6 and a strikeout percentage of 24.2. So not really a very good season at all for Michael Conforto. So I think the Dodgers are going, if you look at the amount of plate appearances, that's in a full 488 plate appearances. So I think Michael Conforto is capable of doing more than that, and I think the Dodgers feel like getting him around the lineup they have, and then around the instruction in the system that they think that they can get to the top of his production level. So that's an interesting sign to the. Give me just a second here. Let me type this in, and let me give you an answer here. So the Dodgers are definitely signing Michael Conforto here, and we'll see if that means they're not signing Soto. Quality outfielder. So there's another deal there as far as. Does that mean that they're not signing Teo Hernandez? We'll know. Who knows? But Michael Conforto is an interesting pickup, and that dude can absolutely rake, no doubt about it. Again, a little bit down in the year last year. He said 237, 239, 232 in the last 3 years. So you're not getting a real high batting average type guy. You're getting a guy, though, that has, for the type of power he can provide you, 20 home runs last year. 15 in 2023. You're dealing with about a 25% strikeout rate. So, I mean, it's not like the most earth-shattering type signing ever, but all those things can get better in the Dodger system too. So definitely a lefty stick off the bench if you needed, maybe a platoon, maybe all those sorts of type deals. So yes, definitely, Mike, the Dodgers are still in on Teo. I don't think Conforto is a guy that the Dodgers are looking to plug in as an everyday player. I think Teo is the everyday player the Dodgers would, 1 year, $17 million, would want to play every day. We'll see, though. It'll be interesting to see how they go about that. Mr. Seabad just got into Dallas for the winter meetings. This is going to be a fun week. Hey, have fun, Mr. Seabad. That does sound like a lot of fun. Orlando can fill the Hayward role, expendable. Matter of fact, Austin touched on our last show that some of the outfielders on the margins the Dodgers might go get, this is that guy. So that's a great point, Orlando. Kind of that margins guy, fill the Hayward role, expendable if needed. So if you needed to DFA him, you could. If rushing does well, you can DFA Michael Conforto and use rushing instead. Michael Nielsen, Conforto will be that lefty veteran bench bat. Yeah. See, so this is absolutely great chat, no doubt about it. So, because just great thoughts on the Michael Conforto signing. Hey, Longy R. Ader Teo still play even after the Conforto deal. I totally agree with that. Conforto means that Nando's saying, Nando390 says Conforto means Outman's getting traded. I would have to think so. That he probably is going to get the reps that James Outman would get. So we'll have to see. Dan C., good evening. That's a good point, though, Donando. Dan C., hey, Casey. Hey, Dodgers Dogs, how are you this evening? Ela Shiva, we need both left field and right field, so Conforto can do one of those corners. Still need the other corner. We'll see. I mean, I think right field could easily be a platoon. I mean, Andy Pages, Michael Conforto, Andy Pages, James Outman with Tommy Edman in center, and then you figure out who your shortstop's going to be. Hey, Mike, good evening. Seeing reports Cohen just went to $800 million for Soto. He's not worth that. Not at all. I agree with you, Mike, 100%. No way. Yeah, I totally agree with you. Hey, Christopher Navarro, I want to see Rushing's bat in the lineup. I do too. Mike says Conforto, left field, Pajes, center field, Teo, and right field, Edmonds, shortstop, Betts at second base. I like Pajes as a corner outfielder, but that's just me. But we'll see. I don't like that outfield defensively. I just think if you're going to have that expensive of a team, why have such a glaring deficiency and that be your outfield defense? That would be my pushback to that, Mike. That would be what I would say to that. Hey, Al Minerva, Doyer's leveled up. Conforto is good for 17. He wants to win, no doubt. Dodgers are savage, says Dan C., and are the greatest. Dan C. also says Conforto, Teo, and Edman are a pretty solid outfield. Yep. Hey, what does Conforto bring us? He certainly does not replace Teo. That's what Ray Hendrickson said. I think he brings you a platoon bat. He brings you a bat that could have some pop off the bench. I think he brings you a guy that can, if you have an injury, he can give you months at a time in the starting lineup, or you can go all the way and you could fix him. Not fix him, but you could get him to the top level of his game, and he could be an everyday player and be really good because Michael Conforto can flat hit. Ela Shiva, I totally agree with you. I want Blake Trinan back as well. I think Blake Trinan wants to come back. Jim Sacco, when you DFA a player, you pay the freight minus the minimum salary if the player gets picked up. Yep. Hey, Mr. Seabad, Casey, come join us in Dallas. I'll have DMAC cover dinner and drinks on Tuesday night. I wish I could, Mr. Seabad, but I am head over heels on work right now, trying to get to Christmas break here at the Gut Rock. Cole says, I smell a trade coming. But, hey, I certainly hope you enjoy your time there in the Big D. That's a great place. That sounds like fun. I wish I could be there. Cole, I smell a trade coming. Eyes on Crochet or Williams. I'm hoping for Devin Williams. I think if you've watched Dodgers Dogs as part of the Dodgers Daily Network, I've been saying that for quite a while. Hey, Daryl, I didn't see the Michael Conforto signing coming. I did not either. The Dodgers, they always pull something out that you don't see. I can see a trade now during the winter meetings. Trades this week seem inevitable, says Michael Nielsen. That's also from Jay Smooth. Mike Lopez says, let's re-sign Teo. What are we waiting for? We're waiting for the Juan Soto ball to drop. That's what you're waiting for. Al Minerva, 38 spots. We have 2 spots left on the 40-man. And then you're going to get roughly 5 spots back once spring training starts, so you can rely on that too. Brian Sevilla, whenever you put your 60-day ILs officially on the IL, you'll get those back. Brian Sevilla, Conforto means Mookie is definitely playing infield, 100%. Yeah. Hey, Dan C. Conforto needs some Dodgers dust, no doubt. Good OPS. Teo to the Blue Jays is being rumored. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of rumors out there. The more rumors you get about a certain player, the more leverage you get, right? Hey, third base, LA has 2 spots left, or 38's what we just read that just a minute ago. Hey, Mike says, smart move for Sasaki. Put him in Oklahoma City for a month to get used to a bigger, non-tacky ball. They can evaluate his arm, work on his spin, and get his conditioning up. That's exactly what I'm saying. I think that is an advantage for Roki Sasaki, that he doesn't have to be plug and play. The Dodgers can slow play him, and the mic is a bit hot, says Ramble Ron. Let me back up just a little bit then, or I can turn myself down, actually, if I needed to. But I'll back up. Thank you for letting me know that. Ramble Ron, I appreciate that. I will back up just a touch. But I agree with the Roki Sasaki thing, is that he doesn't have to be plug and play, and you can slow play him, even send him to Oklahoma City and give him time to develop and get used to being a professional pitcher here in America, right? Hey, Ela Shiva, I'm so excited to see Jared Karros in his first Major League outing. I certainly am too. If you have not seen the Jared Karros interview, I released that on Friday. And so it is, matter of fact, Mike, if you're still in the chat, any chance you could go retrieve that Jared Karros interview and put the link in the chat so for anybody who wanted to see that interview with Jared Karros, they could click that link and go right to it. So let's get back down to the bottom of our chat. Jay Smooth says, Lux, Outman, and prospects for Crochet. I don't think Gavin Lux fits the White Sox timeline. I don't think they would want him because I think Gavin Lux's contract is up in a couple of years. And so having said that, he's going to be a free agent, and there's no way the White Sox are going to be any good in the next 2 or 3 years. And so they are going to need guys. To me, the White Sox would rather have like Zaire Hope. They'd rather have like maybe a Josue De Paula or a Kenny George or one of the guys that are down further to the bottom of the minor leagues, because I think it's a complete rebuild for them, and those guys' timing would be 3, maybe 4 years, and that's right when the White Sox, I think, after a total rebuild, might be competitive again. So, hey, I think those types of guys would make more sense to the White Sox than a Gavin Lux or a James Outman. And again, I know it would be nice for the Dodgers because you're dumping 2 40-man roster spots. But to make trades work, you got to actually have people that the other team wants. Hey, Mr. Seabat, have you seen the construction work at Dodger Stadium? They have 2 40-foot trenches, 12 feet deep in the infield. Fearing a poltergeist happening. I have. Yeah, that's awesome. Hey, Cole says Dodgers probably have an agreement with Trinan and Kike that they will get signed start of spring training, or a trade of prospects also opens up 40-man spots. I've mentioned that about Kike. I think him, Sasaki, and Clayton Kershaw are all candidates to get signed after spring training when the 60-day spots open up. I had not thought about that about Blake Trinan, though. That is a great comment, Cole. Again, that is why Dodgers Dawgs, as part of the Dodgers Daily Network, is absolutely the best baseball talk, Dodgers baseball talk out there. Comments like that. So, yeah, Blake Trinan, he's been in the system forever. He wants to be a Dodger. He said that. The Dodgers want him. So, hey, Blake, we're going to sign you. Let's come to terms. Let's sign you once spring training starts. Once the 60-day IL spots open up, we'll put you on then. That way, because we only have 2 spots left. That way, Blake, we can go get 3 or 4 more guys. That's assuming you have a trade in there that take so you're 38 if you trade and you lose 2 guys off your 40 man. That gives you 4 more guys to go get a Ha-Seong Kim, a Devin Williams, somebody like that. And I think Blake Trinan definitely would agree with that. So that's a great point, Cole. That is absolutely a great point. Hey, David, thank you so much there, Mike. Really appreciate that you put that link. There's that link there. Mike just linked the Jared Karros interview. David Herrera, here's Michael Conforto's road splits when he wasn't playing games in the deathbed known as Oracle. 253, 323, 530, 852 OPS. 277 ISO, 362 WOBA, 133 WRC plus. There you go. That's good. That's really good. Thank you so much for that, David Herrera. That's really, really good right there. That's what you want to see right there. That's good stuff from David Herrera, and that's very good production from Michael Conforto. Hey, Bob Student, looking up Conforto's numbers, and hopefully his numbers will improve. Getting out of Oracle. That's kind of what David's saying. This is great baseball talk, people. This is absolutely fantastic. Paul Charles, good evening. Hey, Casey, I think the Mets or Yankees pay Soto all that money for a guy who doesn't bring in money like Ohtani does. Just saying, I agree. I think the Dodgers will trade for Nolan Arenado. I don't, but we'll see. The Dodgers, if they do, I trust whatever they choose to do. They have proven that they know what they're doing time and time again. So who am I to tell them yes or no on that type of deal? But I am a no on Nolan Arenado. I've I've kind of gone over why, just kind of the offensive metrics. Hey, Ela Shiva, some folks suggest that Altman doesn't have enough value to trade. I think he has enough value to be a part of a trade. He's not going to be anywhere as close to like the headliner of the trade. But I think there's a team that if he's part of the trade, he would be intriguing to other teams. I think I'll put it to you that way. So that I think definitely he has the ability to be part of a trade. Major League experience. He's posted a 4.2 WAR in a full season of Major League Baseball. You could easily make the case that he only had a little over 100 at-bats next year. And depending on what you're having to give up, you're getting a guy that you're trying to see if you can strike gold with, right? So I think definitely he can be part of a trade. Hey, yes, no doubt, Matt Kramer. Let me read that again from David. These are great numbers. Michael Conforto's road splits when he wasn't playing games in Oracle, which is the deathbed, is what Michael's saying. 253, 323, 530. Then also 852 OPS, which above 800 is good. So 852 is really good. 277 ISO, really good. 362 WOBA, weighted on base average. 133 WRC plus, so 33% above league average. Those are good numbers. Good work, David. Very good work. Good numbers for Michael Conforto. I'm very excited now. Hey, Matt Kramer, you are a rock star. We have another super chat for $4.99. Can't thank you enough, Matt. Thank you so much for your awesome support here on Dodgers Dogs as part of the Dodgers Daily Network. Blue Fan, in regards to Muncy versus Arenado, if the Dodgers plan to keep Lux and start him as shortstop, having Arenado at third base, the better defender with more range might make sense. That is a great point, Blue Fan. Again, gonna say it. This is why you will find the best chat, period. So if Gavin Lux is your shortstop and you're not convinced he's going to be all that great defensively, of which don't get me wrong, none of us are saying that that's what the Dodgers are going to do. We're not saying that Gavin Lux is going to be the shortstop. We're just throwing out universes to where Arenado would make sense. So what Paul Charles is saying, actually what Blue Fan is saying here, and they're exactly right. If Gavin Lux is your shortstop, you can't have Gavin Lux and both him and Max Muncy on the left side of your infield, two below average defenders. So if Gavin Lux is your shortstop and he's a below average defender at shortstop, that's where Nolan Arenado would become more valuable, because then his defense becomes the part of it you need worse than his offense at that point. So, hey, Mike says, are Austin and you coming out to spring training this year? We're going to try to see if we can raise some money. If we can raise enough money to get there, and then also if Juan or somebody in the organization would actually get us media credentials, of which I was not able to get last year, would love to go to spring training, but we'll see how that goes. Hey, Paul Charles, the Dodgers need to sign Teo now before the Red Sox, Blue Jays, and Yankees and Mets get to him. It's gonna be after the Soto deal, so I think it's coming. Soon. Okay. Hey, Matt Kramer, you guys are the best at staying objective. Well, thank you so much, Matt, and that your support, I can't tell you how much it is appreciated, no doubt about that. It's just, like I say all the time, when I hop on here and this many people show up and it's this, you have these incredible comments that you guys make. It is just it's incredibly humbling. It's extremely fun. It's why we continue to do it. And so thank you so much from the bottom of our heart. It's absolutely awesome. Hey, Ela Shiva is saying that Mike has a great idea as far as going out to spring training, I think is what she's referring to there. So, hey, Jose Ayala, I believe that Fried and Burns will end up on the same team. I have the feeling it's going to be the National League West. Ooh, hot take of the night. Jose Ayala, National League West. So you're looking at, so come on, tell us, Jose, are you looking at Padres? You looking at Dodgers? You looking at Snakes? You looking at Giants? I think in that scenario, you'd probably be looking at Giants because they're looking, after the Willie Adames deal, they're looking for big names. They're looking for something to get their fans excited with. So, hey, that's a good hot take there, Jose Ayala. Matt Kramer, didn't see Conforto coming, another Freeman masterpiece. Totally agree with that. Especially if you go back to David Herrera's. I'm going to read these again, if I can get back up to them and find them. 17 road homers for Michael Conforto. And here's a slash away from Oracle. 253, 323, 530. That's really freaking good. That's away from Oracle. He had an OPS of 852, an ISO of 277, which is good, a WOBA of 362, and a WRC plus of 133. Really good right there, David. That is fantastic. 17 homers away from Oracle. Yeah, 17 of the 20 last year were away from Oracle, of which he's not going to be playing at Oracle. So how about that? Matt Kramer, if we have injuries, how would you feel about Gauthier batting ninth? I love Austin Gauthier. Matter of fact, I ask, if you go back to the Dylan Nishotka interview that I released last week, I asked him, that profile of bat-to-ball skills, specifically speaking of Austin Gauthier, where do they fit in? And he said, hey, they're ball players. They definitely fit in. So I have no problems, with that profile. And I definitely have no problems with Austin Gauthier. The problem is he's got to get placed on the 40-man first. And then also, the Rule 5's coming up here shortly. I think there's a chance he gets taken in the Rule 5. We'll have to wait and see there. So, hey, Paul Charles, I think it's funny how everyone last year was complaining that Ohtani was holding up the market, but on one has said anything about Soto's holding up the market too. That's a good point there, Paul. Everybody complaining that Ohtani was holding it up. Why isn't everybody complaining that Juan Soto's holding it up this year? Hey, Mike says, I'll be in Great Lakes, Tulsa, and OKC. Have to look at the new schedule to lock down dates. Let me know when you're in Oklahoma. We'll get together, Mike. No doubt. That sounds fun. Hey, Matt Kramer, that's wonderful, David. They're talking about all the numbers we've gone over several times of Michael Conforto away from Oracle. That's great stuff. Hey, Edgar Diels, Teo probably wants to wait to see. They're waiting on the Soto deal, no doubt. Dodger Blue 82. We're going to be going with ex-Giants. Hey, Paul Charles says, what are your thoughts on Snell signing with the Dodgers? Couldn't be more happy about it. We said the first thing you needed was one of the three between Max Fried, Blake Snell, and Corbin Burns. My personal preference was Corbin Burns, but okay. Definitely not going to complain about any of the three. I think Blake Snell is going to kick ass with the Dodgers. I think some of his walk rates are because he has so much swing and miss in him. And the Dodgers saw that they threw a lot of early strikes, and they're going to be able to take advantage of that. They're going to create some bridge pitches for him, and it's going to be fantastic. I could not be more excited about Blake Snell. Hey, Al Minerva says Oracle Park. I'll give them that. Really good name, Oracle, yes. What are the chances Dodgers get Corbin Burns? I would say 0, Gregory, at this point. I don't see that happening. I think they chose Blake Snell over Corbin Burns, and they went that way. Either Shiva, I bought spring training tickets the first day they were available. So much fun. I need to get out there this year. Rocati, thank you so much for joining. Can you explain in short how the stadium affects offensive numbers and home runs, and how different is Dodger Stadium in comparison? Typically speaking, with the Marine Layer, Dodger Stadium at night doesn't play power very well. That's been a little bit different as of the last couple of years, but definitely like different parks, like if it's short to right field, it helps lefties because they can pull it and that kind of thing. So Oracle Park being in Baltimore, I'm not as totally familiar with that, but with Michael Conforto, obviously there's parts of that as far as the depth of the outfield that have taken away some power numbers. He only had 3 home runs there. So the depth of that, it means that it's harder for him to hit home runs, maybe the weather environments and all those kinds of things. So a harder place to hit for a hitter because every outfield dimension is different in the major leagues. And I'm skirting a little bit because I'm not totally familiar with Oracle Park. And so I don't want to act like a aficionado or an expert on exactly what it is about Oracle Park that makes Michael Conforto be so much better on the road, but I'd have to imagine the outfield dimensions would be that. Hey, Casey, what position did Mike C play in San Francisco? Mike C. I'm not sure who Mike C we're talking about. Matt Kramer says would love to lose Goff in the Rule 5. B2, that means he's on a 26-man roster. Hey, in my opinion, I think Ohtani should just play DH and not pitch. That's from Paul. I've said that before. That's an interesting thought. I don't think that's going to happen because you sign a guy to that much money, and they need a 6-man rotation, and he's very good. So I like that idea. I think that's very creative. I don't think it's going to happen, though. Hey, Richard Flores says the longer we wait for Soto to free us from his decision, we risk losing Teo. Yeah. I think, though, like I said, they've already talked to Teo. This has already been worked out. So I don't think that's a concern. Hey, did we lose Wardo to the Rule 5? Very good chance, Christopher Navarro. I think also Cody Hosey is a chance. I hope they all go. I really do. I hope Gator, Wardo, Hosey, I hope all of them go because they need opportunity. Hey, I think you might be running a tad hot on the mic. Probably just the level is, again, I'm getting too hot on the mic here. Not exactly sure. It's showing me the same levels that I normally get. I may have to play that back and try to play with that over the weekend, over this next week, and see what the deal is. I apologize for that if it was too hot tonight. But hey, that's going to be it for me tonight. We have had a great show. We've gone. I was talking about the guy the Dodgers just signed, Mike Person from the Giants. They signed today. Michael Conforto. Yes, yeah, Michael Conforto. Yeah, let me go back to your original comment about what position, outfield. Yeah, I could play any of the outfield positions, so definitely a need there. So, yeah, outfield for Michael Conforto. So, hey, that's going to do it for me tonight. For Dodgers Dogs and part of the Dodgers Daily Network, make sure and tune in to Austin tomorrow evening. Austin's going to have a Dodgers Dog Live show as well. And then also, we have Chris Gutierrez, we have Landon Knack, we've got Ben Kasparius, we've got Jose Rodriguez, we've got Kenny George coming up all this week. So tune into those shows as well. So thank you to everybody so much for tuning in. So until next time, go Dodgers. It's a great day to be a Dodger.